Good afternoon, good evening, and good day. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. And let's see. Yep, the audio is working. And let's get the chat up and running, see who's in here, and then we'll get going. Hello, Moto. Say hi. Say hi. She don't want to say hi. She just watch. Okay, so let's get started with this first one. Brought about a second story that I wasn't even going to do because it was kind of speculation. But well, when I did the first story, I might as well do the second one, right? So let's jump into it. Uh, let's pick up Moto so she can stop complaining. Oh, it's not complaining? Okay, I'm sorry then. All right, let's see. That's the one I wanted to share. There we go. What up? Get rid of my headphone cable. I stuck a laptop or tablet on it. There we go. So the first story, we're on YouTube. I don't know. Facebook's messing up my chat again. I fixed it twice now. I might just stop broadcasting to Facebook until they fix this. All right, so turn this on. Oh yeah. Is talking about the results of their Silverado EV and numbers. They told us what it did do, but they didn't tell us what it can do. GM does their pre-productions. I'm surprised this one even has proper lights on it. Typically, they run plastic molding on the side, and they run without the real headlights. They run the real headlights. They don't put them in their airbags. Saying hi now. Good morning. Yeah, you. That's nice. All right. So first, let's see where they say. So this is expected next year, which Chevy is big on these long lead. That was 2 years from when they first announced it. Or just wanted some change. But it's been in development for over 6 years easily. Uh-huh. Oh. Oh, okay. No, you can't have my glasses. Let them go. Thank you. So, they will offer up 10,000 pounds max towing on some variants, and Chevrolet won't push it. And so what they were announcing that they did was they towed a 7,700-pound RV. Yeah, the Silverado, which don't need another your trim lines unless you, and you can say the work truck EV. Work truck EV was just too much. EV work truck is just. All right. So, work truck. They were running at low and high speeds, and they said that the vehicle drove smoothly and responded well to driver feedback, as do all of that towing that I've seen. I guess the case wouldn't be on one that's not designed. So anyway, so they're expecting over 100,000. They say it's going to have a rate of 400 and not towing, and 666 horsepower and 780 foot-pounds of torque. So less than a Plaid, but that's fine. Semi-truck Plaid. All semi-trucks, so less than a Plaid. Let's go on to the next bit of speculation. the Silverado story. I brought one. All right, so uh, the EV9, they did a customer survey, and some folks are reporting that leaked some specs. Uh, I say grain of salt here because one, the vehicle's not quite done yet. Two, the survey could just be gathering feelings without necessarily show what's actually going to happen. But let's take a look into this real quick. I'd like to look at these wheels on this concept here. Maybe beauty ring in there and it'd be fine just as is. But I remember what that they're doing a suspension test. It looks like an articulation test. Probably just see if it wiggles too much. Wiggling, waggling. Let's look at these people. Let's see. These are up. Wow, that's an incline on the track. A little bit of wet road testing. And advertisement. All right, so in the survey, existing owners of the Telluride, which is the version thing, or the gas, I say version if it's a dedicated platform, I believe it is, but the internal customers they expect to upgrade this would be running in the Telluride. And let's see what they did here. So everybody wanted to know, you know, choose among 5 unnamed trims given the price, range, horsepower, torque, and seating capacity, towing capacity, wheel size, and 0 to 60. At the bottom was $56,000. So we see where they're trying to enter in at. Counts as is perfectly fine. If it counts as a car, that's a grave mistake. It needs to drop another $1,000 and change once you start adding in all the stuff to get the tax credit, assuming this thing will qualify in the other ways after March. Let's see. So base one is 200 miles, is plenty. But like I say, I think that a good all around is 250 starting out. Now it can do 260 full, and average start is about 36 after 8% degradation. That's right. That's a good finger. So anyway, the next one up is, let's see, 250 foot-pounds torque, 8.5 seconds. That's not all slow in unit. It's slow EV. I think even the Toyotas do better than that. The next one up is range. It is at 290 miles. If you're gonna have trims, then I would think that maybe a 300 would be nice to have. Especially if thinking, you want that for, but regular everyday use 250 is right up that alley. But that's the flagship. 90, not what? That's all. Okay. All right. So rather than trying to decipher this sentence here, let's look at the chart. All right, starting at 56, 220 mile range, 200 horsepower, 250 torque. Knowing is an option, that's fine. But if you sell a car, everything else, that's not cool. Not cool though. Although frame is built for it, and avoid your warranty for just adding it. And that's not terrible. Why you fake cuffing? Did you choke on it? Because I didn't get a cough. All right, next one up, 61 grand, 290 miles, 200 horsepower, 250 foot-pounds, 6,000 pounds of towing. That's quite a naming. 19 wheels, and 60. So it actually slowed down. So it's because they put battery in it, put more in it. Drops down from these to 6 seats. So I'm guessing these are benches, are captain's chairs. 63. Again, this is a survey. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, but these are quite interesting. So it drops down to 260 with 400 horsepower. See how the 200 is exactly double of this one? I'm guessing these two are rear-wheel drive. One is all-wheel drive with dual motors. 380 foot-pounds of torque, 3,500 foot-pounds of towing capacity. So this one makes sense. Extra, I can understand in the towing capacity. If somebody can aftermarket put in the 2,000 pounds towing capacity on the zero, it's fine too. If you avoid the warranty and all that, then that's not cool. Let's see. There, it looks like they decreased the battery. What? Why would the rear trim have less? Or is it the wheels? 20 wheels do it. So 8 grand or 40 miles motor, same towing capacity. On Model X, from 20 to 22, there's almost half towing capacity. You go from 5,000 to 3,500 foot-pounds of capacity. You slapping me in the face. I'm beeping here. Why am I beeping? Anyway, and then the spec is 3 grand, 250 miles because it's got 20 wheels, 200 miles of range. I'm guessing it's some of that butt a little bit there, or it has slightly bigger than all the rest. Just keep up. 400 power, 480 foot-pounds of torque. So they unlock the motor there. Or maybe like the Tesla, they have a bigger motor. 500 of torque. Oh, sorry, of torque again. And black. What the black means? Okay, black wheels. So the wheels will be black, like the ones we saw on the and 5.2 seconds to. Interesting. 5.2 seconds. That's you expect more on the top end, but that's not bad either. Especially when it's so much bigger. But if the smaller Kia is being Lamborghinis and Ferraris, you kind of expect their flagship to do that too, since the other one is also an SUV, not a car. Even though it's sold as a car. Yes, sweetie. You want it back here? Here you go. You want back some of these toys you throw on the floor? Green ball? Pink ball? Green card? Green square? There you go. All right. She refuses to sit. She's got one hanging up. Oh. All right. So I wanted to spoke to electric. The last used option was a $4,800 package. I think everybody has to offer that now. If you don't, then you lose customers. All right, moving on. Hey, there's good evening. Good to see you. So we know chat is working now. All right, so what you see on your screen now is not Chevy Bolt. BYD Seagull has been leaked in China. It's supposed to start under $9,000. At that price, I'd imagine it'd be on here, because it doesn't seem like it'll pass crash test here at under 12K. The smallest BYD Ocean series is still going on sale in April with a lithium ion phosphate battery 374 motor. So, like we used to make cars around here. Oh, yeah. Mhm. Alright, so, let's see, this will be a five-door hatchback, and be, uh, 1.5 meters in height, and is that right? Long? Almost 2 meters long? That's short. It looks like a bolt, but it's more, and let's see, the shorter and narrower than the BYD Dalton, which is already small. And interesting that the charge door on the right hand or left hand drive country. Let's look at the pictures though. Build dreams. Not a bad looking car for styling. Center mount breakdown low. Interesting. All right. Is that two different headlights? One's got ADAS. All right. Interesting. What do I say? This one's got a single camera up front, so it could be smart cruise or as much else. Give it the base, the fact that it's one camera. Do cruise, and we saw Tesla and a bunch of others did for a while. They did here with one camera. You can do that, but I don't think it's anything advanced with one camera. Interesting. All right, that's about the battery made by Fin Dreams, the BYD Superior, and the capacity is unknown, probably low. I'd be surprised if it had much more than a mile range, 100-mile range. You'll have to say. Sound is a little bad. Is it while she's guys or just in general? I might need to restart my microphone. Let me anyway. All right, it says it's back on. Is this any better, or I guess we'll have to have me talk a little bit to make sure. Let's see here. Uh, high spec anyway, these aren't being open. Yeah. I buff it back. I probably didn't. It just didn't click. They're already exporting. It will be interesting in Europe. Politics and, like I said, crash test. Tariffs. Yeah. I wonder if you can import it. I'm not the whole rule, so nobody wants this thing 20 years. I wonder if that's how they were claiming that they were leading, because if they the mini, then yeah, they do it. Yeah, it does kind of look like that's what they were towards. It's easier to rip off the style and make your own. Something we've always used Chinese of doing. And let's see. Let's move on to this one because dive deep into politics there. This one, some folks are saying it's not that special. Other folks are saying it's amazing. What here is Tesla is applied for and got received a patent to shape their windshield with heat treatments, so they can bend it a certain way, uh, with as low as I think it was years. But at the same time, it's got a kilometer radius curved screen, but to do it on automotive glass windshield is a much thicker piece of glass. That's for sure. This like this will be a more rounded than we expected, which is really because it was as sharp as it looked on the prototypes. It brought all kinds of questions. Now a lot of people are like, "Oh well, how's this going to pass crash test?" Blah blah blah. You're a company that made their name. I'm telling you the microphone cord here. That made their name making cars that pass every test in a test. So why would they throw all of that away on one car? I think what we're going to see is a Cybertruck will go in, pass the roof test if they see it. Uh, it'll, I guess it depends on if we're talking the government or the IA. Uh, it'll pass the pedestrian test. It'll pass the frontal collision, the overlap crash test. It'll definitely pass the pole test, and we see what the AI can do. So we know it'll be at least that good because Elon confirmed on the briefing on that it's going to with FSD4, FSD hardware 4. So we know it'll be at least as capable as FSD3 when, and I say that because every time Tesla comes out with new hardware, it has less use than the one that it replaces. So unless they are ahead of the curve on this one, I imagine that what we'll see is these trucks will come out without avoidance and without auto steer and without FSD and everything, and then very quickly, update after update, they'll start folding back features. They'll start with cruise control, add auto steer, auto like down. Let me turn off auto feed. That's doing me dirty. Right. How's this? It says 102, whatever that means. A lot lower on the meter. Let me turn it up to 18. Check, test. 4 seems kind of high, whatever that means. Let's do 185. How's it for you guys? It's down from the streaming software anymore. The question is if my interface or the software will do anything to it after that. Yes, I don't think that we'll have any problems with the Cybertruck passing us both as the victim or the perpetrator, and I also don't think that with the software for Pilot, they'll drive all that. It's a lot 3 and Model S and X when it comes out. They've got a couple months, so the very first one they released, it's got everything already ready to go. I wouldn't hold my breath if I was one of the first holders. Oh yeah, you threw your yellow 3. Yellow 3. And it's red. Oh, you don't want to put it back. Not, oh, man. Let me see my volume. Still showing a 4 on there. 4 on. Let me. Not like there's any fire trucks running through like at the place. There's a baby in a server. You can't reach it. Check 1, 2 audio test. All of my audio should be off. As I restart the microphone interface. But like all the other times. Right, I will. So a Cybertruck, but the other folks speculated that this is how they're able to shape the armor glass windshield on the Tesla Center. That you sit in the center and it's got this like curved view around you, and we've seen in the past where Tesla automakers show another product. They put it on the product they intend to, and so does that mean it won't be on site? It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that the person who specified the semi probably has in there. Maybe this was they developed for Cybertruck and Cybertruck. No. I some places they'll do this to throw you on purpose. I don't think that's what Tesla's doing here. I also right here that the wheels blew out. They don't want us to see the final wheels, which is fun to me. I don't like the wheels that were on the prototype. I do like the wheels without the cover, but I don't like the wheel covers used on the prototype. I know they were cool, so more power to you. Let's see what they actually do. So my Twitter links, if I uninstall Twitter, just going with the website. And so you're saying Tesla sold 2.6 times more in California than all other makers combined in 2022. 92,496 new beds in the road last year. Nearly 60% jump from 2020. And you got that coming from Drive Tesla. Michael says that Southern California is say one in orange in Tesla County alone. I hope they come out with a new model look soon. Cars look exactly. Yeah, look like Grand Theft Auto. I was gonna say GTA, but we've got viewers and nothing to do with looking at the Greater Toronto area. Let's see. Open up some more links here. So we talked about the seagull. Got a tweet from Kyle Connor. This is more of a kind of beware situation rather than any sort of trend that we are aware of at the moment. But let's get it. Kyle tweeted here while I wait for my joke. It's the computer itself. I don't know for reboot in time. Reboot fix it in time. Excuse me. Let's see. Kyle says they're frying connected to charge frequently. I'll be keeping an eye to see if we notice any trends. Well, my feed's busted to YouTube, or at least back to me from YouTube anyway. There we go. So Anson SNK said, "Hey, Electrify America, I just plugged in my Rivian R1T, and after 1 minute later, I hear a loud boom, and now I have to even unplug my car. It took you guys 7 hours to get a guy out, and that wasn't even help. What's the deal? Now my car is for two. So we've been hearing several, and some of them were even Volkswagen Auto Group's products. We heard of a Porsche, another Rivian, a couple Volkswagens. What else? Was it Kia? Maybe a Kia too. What's happening is the car is asking for a certain voltage, and the system is exceeding it, and the car is responding with hybrid values. If you're they stop and somebody's like force feeding you, the only thing you can do is spoon, right? So that's what the car does. opens contactors or blows the pirate fuse. And opening contactors with hundreds of volts going through is not desired. So the pirate fuse is a little safer. Because otherwise you weld the contactors if done wrong. Let's see. Just when things can't get worse for public charging, if electrification comes back option for vehicles because their charging network. This is terrible. We need to find what we can and pay. This is so frustrating. I say for sure if it's an EA or vehicle problem yet. Too little data. Agreed. Agreed. Ricky's asking over at 2-Bit Da Vinci, asking, are there any trends in makes or models? Is it always so scary? I don't think I've heard of any that weren't EA. Bye bye. Bye bye. Okay, we really don't need the center. The good thing here is either you're interested or warm to this thing. If insurance covers it, they're surely going to stop wanting to pay things, so they will get their actual table they're up and they'll figure out what's going on and they'll put the blur. Never heard this happen in Teslas. Let's not realize and put Tesla in these. Now we kind of have, but the one or two that we saw are improperly repaired, and when they went through, they just caught on fire. They didn't. They just stopped working because of charging, and those red super. What's up, Timothy? Good to see you. Greetings from Arizona. And good morning, early. Yeah, I've got it right at the edge of you guys. Good morning, but all good. Yes, sir. All right. Yeah, what model the charger was. It looks like when this happened to Eric Elgo, his Ford Light. Oh yeah, that's what happened. It was a Ford Lightning or two. Um, it was one of the models being actively replaced by Electrify America. And in fact, the first Lightning that we heard of it happening to publicly, that was the one where I was complaining. They were complaining about not having a 12-volt light to get out of the process. I thought was because why not hook the car up to a battery binder, battery tender, jump box, whatever, and start procedures while you wait for the battery to show up. Just reply to the OP. If they have to the unit, kind of hard to tell, but it looks like an older BTC. But the BTC being the model of charger. I mean, look at all the thousands of EA sessions that successfully complete every day. This is still a small situation right now. It's nothing to panic over. It's just something to be aware that it exists right now. Let's see. That lightning got a dent in the bed. The lightning towed away from Electrify America charging station after the EA charger fried my truck. Here's how Tesla will handle this as well on the third-party chargers. Like I said, they've got a couple different ways to stop the charge. And I'm curious what if you plug in with your CCS adapter and this happens. But at the same time, all of those are CCS native in Europe, and I haven't heard any cases of this happening over there. But the question is, of course, if these units that have been causing the issue are sold Europe. And if they are, they haven't had any problems. Is it just the car? Like we don't happening in Europe yet. We have the Volkswagen products on some going on over there either. So I'll definitely on this, and we'll share more as we learn more. Uh, Trivian thoughts on the recharging session on your truck. Maybe. It's not on sale in the Europe in either. All right, let's go back to the original and away from home. Technician just wanted to saw the charge off. I'll cut it off because he could cut it off. Absurd. And then my car city charger was a rental, new car. Thankfully, they gave me some rideshare credit so I can at least get back home at 3 a.m. Good question. But some stations have an override and some don't. And then the other question there is, I've got a video. If you look on the about Model 3 and Model Y, it's a similar process for the Model X. I just did a video for either of them yet to release the lock on the charger. So if that happens, it's an annual release. I will attempt it unless you're sure the charge has, in this case, the fuse blown, the charge has stopped. So pull the connection and release. I assume that Vin and everybody else has a similar mechanism. The question is if you can do it without tools and if it'll work while the vehicle has off power. Let's see if anybody brought that up. It's probably the rest of the history. Now be careful that Electrify America doesn't charge you fees. They're charging fees yet, but that'd be terrible. It was the time that they started it. That's a good question. But who has Rivian Loaner at 3 a.m.? I couldn't get a loaner at that hour. Assuming I found a shop that still had them. A couple days ago, to a Rivian video, there's a manual release under the plastic frunk. Pop the plastic trunk, pull off the latch. So yes, it works just like that. Suspect this is EU competence. Their motives are suspect at best at this point. Probably the only thing Rivian can really be faulted for is not seeing how the food show is. Possibly. Yeah, let's see, picks up the charger so we can be sure which ones they are. So hopefully compiling these and it's still not robust, but if we get enough of them, they might indicate. Electrify America pull their logs. All right, so I'm not liking any of these fanboy type experiences. Like, we don't know what would happen if you tried to overvolt Tesla right now. You can't say with certainty this won't happen. You have to first know what's going wrong, then you have to try to do the car. I'm just now. There we go. Who else? I'll start with Jason. Jason's fine. All right. If you care, I'll let you know. Actually, what you can do is you can just look up custom, follow me, and look for a response to me. And if I remember, I'll on the show. So let's move on. And two on the Cybertruck windshield. No, got everything twice. It's even more weird. So now we're off to a manufacturer we don't talk about that often for numerous reasons. This one is Rolls Royce. Spectre order intake is far better than they are looking at ways to increase their output, which is what we keep saying: electrify all the things. And this is a thing, a very common thing, but these type of customers buy cars too, and it would be nice if they were buying electric cars instead of monsters. Uh-oh. Oh, stop. Okay, good thing is you guys didn't hear that music. Um, I was a little more story. We talked about the Rolls Royce, and yeah, started playing one of the stories next. So let's talk about the Rolls Royce, and let's see. Tesla recently slashed the price of the Next by up to 15%, and Lucid is more affordable versus Air. And who else just dropped their prices on expensive? BOT and Xpeng and several others have already dropped their prices in anticipation of what did, or not in reaction to what Tesla did. And Tesla did that in reaction to not being able to get the tax credits that they wanted their customers to be able to qualify for, among other things. All right, so Rolls Royce up an order book far in 2023. He was quoted as saying to News Europe, he didn't provide any numbers. I mean, 500, 1,000, that's still a lot. I mean, it's a beautiful car. And we took this one over the Cadillac Celeste price. You get a car with a pedigree, and you don't have people looking at you saying, "You on a Cadillac?" I mean, it's beautiful. I don't know that I would get one if I could afford it, but I like it. Ringing. Why am I ringing? My Mac. What the heck? Uh, wow. Sorry. I don't know what that was. My Mac was ringing. And what I thought was one of the phones on my desk, actually the iPad down on the floor ringing. So it must have been a FaceTime call. And let's see. We're looking at pictures. That's what we were doing. It's attractive. All right, we're going to look at all 49 pictures of this thing. Uh, so this one's a two-door, I saw in the pictures. And I did that it's got the doors. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about what the colloquial name is, but the rear hinge doors have a with S. And so, yep, 400,000 as we talked about. This will position it between the Cullinan flagship fan. And interestingly, Rolls-Royce expects the Spectre to achieve the same levels of credibility as the Senna. Why not? There's a lot less development that has to go on as far as like precision tolerant engineering. Of thousands of pieces to put into an engine, and uh, you can use the same skills to make the interior more plush, to make sure that the exterior meets your levels of expected quality and standards. The capacity of the Spectre, but they disclose the weight is 7 kilograms or 1,543 pounds, which suggests it exceeds 3 kilowatt hours. Yes, it does. And shows up it doesn't weigh as much as a Hummer's battery pack, which is not a Civic. Previous reports speculated that the Spectre could borrow the 102 kilowatt hour lithium iron from the WI7. Haven't confirmed yet, but the way to confirm that easily would be see what the weight on the i7 pack is. So before we go on the story, let's let's check that out. So we're gonna do BMW kilos I7 pack. I'm not gonna search long on it. This is probably where I'll go. Don't show, then we'll move on. Let's see. 80% equal to the B12. Kilo doesn't show up. kg doesn't show up. Pounds doesn't show up. Weight doesn't show up. Okay, moving on. We've got this bit of good news that I talked about on What Drives Us this week. Captioning. The we talked about last week how the Aptera first edition was going to not have fast charging. Now it will. It'll have 40 to 60 kilowatts of DC fast charging. And why? There's a couple reasons. One, it allows room for it to throttle down. Two, they don't know what it can take yet. They had paused development on the DC fast chargers. They're going to get prices of materials. They're going to test the thermals. And this is plenty. 60 kilowatts sounds like nothing. Like it's pretty slow, like the Volt and whatnot. But and it's slow if you go faster than that. And the station. But remember, the Aptera is ultra efficient. So the last time we saw this view from them, it was telling us how. I like the camera space on here. It was telling you how on a regular 110 socket it could pull about 10 or 15 miles an hour, and considerably more on the 6.6 kilowatts of charging. The ability to turn this thing around and rest stop. So myself and a bunch of members of the community were disappointed to find out that they had announced a vehicle without it, given that this is a ultra efficient car and it had the range to regional commutes. Say, well, you just go down the street to work and back, do your grocery shopping, etc., and then you go to a class or a client or whatever. In that zone where it was enough that you could drive, so it wasn't worth flying for any reason because of the emissions. And it wasn't worth taking a train in America because of the way that our rail system is set up. You're not in the Northeast, Amtrak, get stuck behind a freight train. Plus, we charge a heck of a lot for train travel these days. So it'd definitely be a lot easier to go on your own sunshine that you collected car parked outside or from your own house. And yes, if you had a 1,000-mile pack, that kind of reach would be fun trip. Not everybody's 1,000-mile pack, so the 250, the 400, 500, whatever. That is doable in a day while having a meeting and coming back, and to see how that you can do those in inclement weather, in the dark, in the rain, in the snow. Not that I suggest driving in the snow in a 4-wheel, 3-wheel car, but non-ideal conditions where you get what it's in. And having that option, I think, is the right move. And I really don't understand the people who are against doing this. And we're people who do this, and they thought it was absurd. And why the amount of supercharged? or one or two times in the lifetime. They're just completely local cars. And right after, like before the show this morning, I was reading a response to Marquez Brown how much on your next one. He had four choices listed, and I put out that I wanted as much capacity as this thing was. It wasn't on the list. I didn't terabyte at 512, and oh my goodness, the people who woodworks don't need that. You don't know what I need. You don't know my use case. There are people who had the 1 terabyte and that was needed their use case. Like one of the guys was a professional photographer. He did his photo shoot, and then he would edit on phone. He'd break out a keyboard, and it's already got a pencil. He would need to do his little touch ups, and he could proof them before he sold them. And I don't think the latest trend of policing other people's consumption in such a fashion. Uh, who is being hurt by this phone having a little bit extra storage? Uh, who is being hurt by being able to turn around faster? If this actually allows you less battery in the car, which right now, the same. Look at how much environmental damage from making the battery or whatever. If there's less material in the car, they're doing less destruction. Damage is small, right? Why not allow them the option? It's a small piece of a small couple pieces of relays and some cabling. How is that a worse choice than having a bigger battery? I don't know. What do you think? Like, how do you feel about being able to DC fast charge this thing? Whether you were going to buy one or not? And if you do want to buy one, if you use my link in the description, you can get a something. I don't even remember what they're offering for their referral program. I'm gonna show them like the sponsored post. All right, moving on to the next thing. So this one happened, and when I put it in here, it wasn't exactly known what was going to happen. But now, so is Tesla announced 2 new factories. What they've done is they are going to expand. They're going to expand Giga Nevada. That's Austin right there. I'm opening this again. I got it open in another that I saved for you guys. Well, I'll close them both at the end of the show. So the shareholder briefing was really good. All right, that is Giga Berlin. And if you want more details on the shareholder briefing, catch this week's the Tesla Live show. This is Giga Berlin Paint Shop. This is in Lathrop, the Mega Factory. This is a Mega Pack final assembly. Actually, Mega Pack assembly. You can see 2 next to each other here. Shanghai stamping press, body shop. Here we go. So this is the Gigafactory Nevada plans. The previous tweet was talking about. The 2 new factories are going to be the 46 plant right about here, and the Tesla semi right about here, and actually this piece too. From this part on back and then this way, right, is this Gigafactory Nevada in that weird L that they've got. So I finish it up, and I don't know how they're gonna hire enough people. They say that's kind of cool. You got all the Tesla sets on the road, they're loading it up, and then over here you've got the output from the factory to get ready to go to their customer. I think they're gonna need a bigger lot. We'll see what they actually do. Stays close, but not on par with these most of the tank. Let's look at the pictures while we're here. So we got Tesla a Frito-Lay plant in Modesto. Country, Texas at 4680 cell production. And charts. Okay, so moving on. That's cool stuff. And apparently I had a couple on it. So the owner said they on these factories, and 2 factories are just part of just they're of Gig in Nevada. They're going to finish up. So 100 gigawatt hours of 4680, 35 gigawatt hours of 70, 35 to 50, and drive for I guess everything because they all use the same drive units now. Last drive unit is the carbon over version of the Model 3 motor. Just and the semi is a whole drivetrain 180 with a dog clutch, and of course appropriate gearing and cooling. White House now also confirmed factories that will create 3,000 new well-paying jobs. Oh, wow. That's cool. And then on the 24th, that's announced a project, which include semi manufacturing. Yeah, that's probably how I keep it under wraps. Like at the time, these were going to be 2 separate factories somewhere else, and it's a lot easier to keep it under wraps when it's this factory. A new collision repair center and dedicated space for semi. That's one I opened, never did put in the notes. It's just still sitting in the phone. Also, they bring up the point that I talked about with the rumors of the Mexican factory. There's nothing yet. Confirms not yet, so we'll see what becomes of that. 3.6 billion investment, and it'll produce. Yeah, I have a network ad blocker on because it's really easy to get infected from advertisements these days. Let's see. That distracted me. I'm talking about 50,000. There we go. They want to produce 50,000 by 2024, and they will be able to do that and get their production ramp up. Nevada currently covers 5.4 million square feet and an annual production of 35 gigawatt hours. Announcement. Also shared how Nevada is open. 7.3 billion battery cells, 37 gigawatt hours annually, 1.5 million packs, 3.6 drive units, and 1 million energy modules for 14 watt hours. Not bad. All right. Let's see what this collision center situation looks like. So preparing to build a 45,000 collision center in Reno, and it'll be for the semi, or the first known location with dedicated areas to repair, maybe not even just the semi. Which is cool. Center is going to be at Corporate Boulevard, 21 miles away from Gig, Nevada. Plans are covered by Tesla. Existing will be demolished, and it is by 44 407 square foot building will go out. Usually reuses whatever buildings are on the one that they pay. Often just reuse them in millions. When you make them, they do exactly what they do. The plans for 5 dedicated stalls inside the building to work on my. 3 of those stalls will be located near the middle of the building. Semi-paint booth. There, cool. There's a large bay door on the left, rear side of the building that has an open bay for semi. Another bay adjacent to it that has no, what we can tell is also for semi based on the flow lines leading from the paint booth. There'll also be a double wash bay at the bottom right corner that also has a space for the semi. The description is going to come to match semi and regular cars. Let's see here. Open bay. Open bay. Drop lifts. I want to go back to zoom. And deliberate with my two fingers. Two posts. Seismic. I wonder if that seismic like earthquake or seismic like seismic. All right, new opening, new opening, new open bay for semi. We got them measure the size. There's definitely cars. This would be the semi. Well, the door the wrong way for the Tesla semi. Double wide. Break room, bedroom, parts and storage, tire changer for semi, customer lounge, offices, some kind of room. There we go. And team one over lifts. All right, this seems kind of cool. Team two, team three, 5 teams. I am impressed with the work that these body shops can do these days. It's like with magic. Equipment just for the semi paint booth mentioned above, as well as alignment system, wheel balancer, tire changer, which we saw in the diagram. Outside the building will be 5 parking spots for semi, as well as for semi truck maneuvering. That's kind of cool. Maneuvering might be for trucks as well as for their deliveries for their parts and waste. Given this involvement of an existing building and construction of a new building, the center open towards the end of 2023, if not early 2024. So far, it's delivered as many as 36 of their semi trucks Pepsi know of, and expected to grow their fleet to at least 100 this year. Projects listed as active, so work has begun. If engineers near, blah blah blah. Yeah, let Drive Tesla know, so they let us know. Rising for cyber clearance, we saw one. And moving on to some more. The beat from Drive Tesla. An article all 3 in one. All right, we just got plenty. Another tweet for themselves. I believe that all those Tesla tweets are regarding the new factory expansion. All right, wait for the computer to come back. Shit, that's dead. I think it stopped sharing altogether. Oh, okay. Oh, my icons are missing though. All right, looks like we're back on back. Let me resync this. Make sure audio is still coming through. Is it really quiet to you guys? It's quiet to me. Let me turn it up. All right, if you're wearing headphones, I'm about to turn the volume up on you. Check, check, 1, 2. All right. Almost to the max. All right, so Drive Tesla tweeted, when a Ford is fire, crickets your media. Also, don't read comments. EV ignorance and misinformation is still very prominent. Yeah, if you want to protect your brain, don't read the ignorance. Um, so this is coming from Nevada Highway Patrol of Southern Nevada. On IR 215 east of Reno, currently has 2 travel lanes open due to a vehicle fire. Just vehicle fire, electric car, nothing. Just vehicle fire. As if it was a gas fire. Nothing to see. Driver safe and exit the vehicle prior to it catching fire, which is something we hear about in most fires. Is the driver was able to just get out. All of them, but most of them. The reason is unknown. It's an electric vehicle and may take some time to extinguish. Drive safe. And just it's an EV. It's not. I probably would do the same for Tesla. They seem like professional, but the news would be all over it. Tesla. Um, and they're right. You know, it's going to take a while because so far all of the responder guys I've read from all the various manufacturers say just keep soaking it. Until it gets down to the point where the cells can't self ignite. Water. Or we can go for the UV solution and dunk them in a dumpster full of water, but I don't know. You'd have to empty dumpsters around to get cars dunked into them, and you'd have to load them up quickly. This electric vehicle takes some time in English. I can say with 100% certainty this would absolutely be names instead of headline. Yes. They show restraint by not calling it a Tesla. Oh man, a couple of days ago, we saw a Polestar crash into a building, and I think we talked about it. I don't remember. The Polestar crashed into the building, called it Tesla. They questioned if FSD was in play, and they went on with their lives. Later on, they quiet traction, and instead of apologizing, just removed the word from the headline. And they didn't just Polestar; they just removed the word Tesla. And of course, it wasn't involved because it wasn't a Tesla. Curious to know if this car got a call for the over battery connector. And Ford says, "Can you TM us with more information?" Guess not. Ford, what you talk about? or that. You're free. You're not to. One of your cars just burnt. Please investigate to understand why it happened. So one of these two is right. It could be a denial, or he could be right that they didn't even read it. And yet, EVs are still bigger than muscles in terms of combustion. They don't even have combustion in the name, whereas combustion is the fossil car's name. Clearly, this is not a Tesla Polestar. It must be the Tesla the monkey. let's open the hood and trunk. Lots of fine oxygen fire. The fire extinguisher method. That is, but I'm wondering if it allows you to more easily access the top of the battery. But are they spraying in the top? Are they spraying at all? I see a hose. I've heard from some firefighters that they don't bother with the water. There's no risk of property damage or life. They'll burn out entirely, which I don't know that that's the right, because if you stop the fire, there's still some usable stuff for recycling. Now, if there's a danger to fires and there's no danger to anyone or anything else, then yeah, don't risk your people. But I don't know. Interesting. It's interesting to let something just burn. Yeah, it should nothing burn. We don't amplify anything involving Tesla. Yeah, it's Tesla nonetheless. All right, moving on. We talked about the center. This was new. So in Germany, the Tesla Model 3 and Model Y now officially qualify for the maximum subsidy. Get up to 1,750 euros, and it's across every trim level. They previously qualified for reduced subsidy, but then with price increases, they disqualified them. Oh, okay, so this is the one where the Model S got funny with it. They made a Model S that everything was an aftermarket download, so it would qualify, and you could get seats. And I guess the Model 3 and Model Y were able to just kind of work their way out of it from the supply crunch. And now they have prices worldwide. They qualify again. Cool. Tesla Well, German podcast about Tesla. It's official. Tesla Germany confirmed both Model 3 and Model Y get the maximum subsidy in Germany. All model upgrades. So model also long range and performance. Tesla's price Model 3 is thus available from 3,470 euros, and the Model Y from 41,370. There we go. Become the best-selling cars. Yeah, they could. Model Y is already EV in Germany. It's the best EV anywhere. And in some countries, it's the best-selling car. just the best car, as we've discussed ad nauseum. On this is a tweet and blaze through the same thing we just talked about with the Giga Nevada expansion. So today, 2.6 billion of investments in Giga Nevada, 4 million square feet of new manufacturing footprint, additional team members, which they still have to hire. 2 new manufacturing facilities, including 100 gigawatt 4680 cell and our first volume semi factory. A long way since Giga Nevada 14. To date, the team there has successfully produced 7 billion battery cells, 1.5 million battery packs, 3.5 units, and 1 million energy modules. Thank you to the team, supply chain partners, and the community that helped there. I'd play the video like knowing Tesla and having already seen of me kicked off of YouTube. So we'll just look at the quick. 8 kilowatt after car compact. Maybe. I think so. How many of the models and such are the 78 kilowatt hour? So you got the standard range in some places. 100 hour 4680 cell factory batteries for 2 million vehicles. Model 3 has historically 53 kilowatt hours with usable. There you go. This could mean the compact, however, it's to standard range plus to additional Model 3s. We'll have to wait and see. What my thoughts. They changed to 1.5 million. Good point. That's interesting. Later from Tesla. 4680 nickel metal cadmium cobalt should be first to go in a semi Cybertruck though. Smaller should have it. That I don't know if it's in this announcement or if it was in the shareholder call that the packs will be switching to lithium iron phosphate, and all future products would be made with the 4680 cells. So an iron 4680 pack, mega pack. They set it all together, so pretty cool. Off another Model 3 and Y called the Max Range. That would be cool. They 130 kilowatt or whatever fits. If you want cities, that would be fun. And then Tesla trucks with FSD Autobots. Indeed. Yeah, like some platforms come out with the switch frame, like a plastic truck, trucks like this. Although a tow truck like this towing a roadster, a little bit overkill. but it would work. To look like this would probably tow other trucks though, like the we see here. I agree. Oh, that would be fun. Well, in fact, the first Tesla semi tow truck render pick one was designed by a 14-year-old girl in Florence. This led to these Autobots, Tesla semi trucks with FSD. Maybe we'll see a Tesla semi coming my way. Sweet. That's pretty good. Make you want to realize seems like a no-brainer. I know in Minnesota who could build one. I think. Yeah, shops could do. It is Tesla could do it right now with attachment. It would make a great video. Tesla sandwich and telling Nicholas my ill. Yeah. Joe knows that work being out of Texas is the end of looking like that. Anyway, moving on. And then the next is the Tesla press release on that. Let's see if they had any more pictures or something. They had one outlining what goes where. I'm getting this document. Nope. It's just the tweets in press release form. So continuing on. There was a presentation, it was the video I did that morning that showed what was going where. Let's talk about Honda. Any companies, except for looking at Toyota, they're short-sighted. Speaking of Toyota, we'll talk about them later as well. They made waves. And I'll rip it again. Come on. All right, there's. So the current factory here, as described in the picture, the semi-manufacturing is most of the rest of the building there, and the selfie. It's kind of between them. Moving on. So I'll talk to you guys briefly about how some non-qualifying cars were getting around the tax credit for EVs using a leasing loophole, and still haven't fully informed myself on this, but I've seen a lot of hot takes on this. The one thing that I've seen consistently out of all of it is that Senator is looking to remove the rest of it. It's good to hear. Let's see. He wants the Treasury to pause issuing the credit card guidance related to battery components and materials. That's, I think, part of the rest of it, these guys didn't cover. It's not in that section. Let's see. Doesn't yet have partisan support, as only in the early stages of talks. Can get support and the bill passes, it would work to cut out for cars that don't comply with the rules as outlined in national law. Explained this week, the IRA, first and foremost, energy security bill and EV tax credits were designed to grow domestic manufacturing, reduce our reliance on foreign supply chains, critical materials, EV batteries. That's the intent. And the battery component, like where they're made and everything, I think that is what's dropping in March. Not lowering, but like, here's the latest information. We'll know what is included. Manchin's also concerned about various loopholes in the room for leases, thanks to guidance about tax versus consumer credit. Manchin's department on saying that they're trying to find loopholes within these credits. Automakers should be the opportunity to solidify our country's role as a automotive superpower. Can and should. I agree with that part. Wonder if I secured the article saying what was in there. Centric's take on same situation. Had a take on it. Um, so Scooter says that Joe Manchin's EV adoption straight up. Probably. In this election against vehicles and limited carbon emissions, represents the second largest coal. Yeah, second to oil. Amazingly. Has introduced well immediately it calls for strict enforcement term EV credits laid out last year in the IRA, which Manchin wrote himself. Disagree the government needs guidance to enable these credits. Manchin's bill promptly has a future in which we continue relying on fossil fuels. Yeah, that part right there. The desk was hard, yes. Right out of the gate, the new terms under the IRA immediately disqualified a majority of EVs from qualifying for federal tax credits, particularly from foreign automakers with smaller or zero manufacturing footprints in the US. French President Emmanuel Macron was so bold as to confront Manchin at a recent White House dinner to exclaim, "You're hurting my country." And Manchin probably said, "Good." West Virginia senator is visited Davos in Switzerland to plead his case for the EV tax credit bill and tout his role in ensuring it puts North America first. Went on to tell officials from allies in Germany and France that there's nothing stopping them from bringing production to the US. This is true. Same thing I said about BYD whining, complaining that they were cut out while Hyundai and everybody else was building factories in the US. It's one way to get around it. That was the intent of the law. Right, so they talked about the delayed battery guidance, which we're talking about coming in March. Which reminds me, I need to renew my license plate. Without guidance, there's no way to enforce the terms. That's true. Manchin's bill blocks all EV tax credits and a waste of time, is the summary here. The American Vehicle Security Act of 2023, the nucleus of the bill is that federal government shall enforce any and all terms outlined in the IRA. All right, so I'm kind of fine with the first take on this so far. It doesn't look like they are as much doom and gloom as this headline makes it seem. Some outlets are reporting that Manchin also expects any U.S. consumers who have already received a tax credit on EV, yeah, that part, expects that any U.S. consumers who've already received a tax credit for an EV purchase in 2023 to repay it, unless that purchase does in fact meet the domestic sourcing requirements in the IRA. Spoiler alert, it likely doesn't. This is true. That part right there. You can't, no, you shouldn't just be reaching back into Americans' pockets like that. Nah. I understand the going forward, but that's what March was all about. You can't just go claw it back. Now, if you found out that they made more money this year than they qualifies, that's another story. Let's see. So it's really just a matter of framing. Scooter kind of went a little aggressive on it. I'd like the other take on it. I'll have to actually see the final bill before I even make any informed comments on it. But from what I've seen so far, between these two and other places I've seen it called out, but without actually reading the bill, assuming that he's not doing the politician thing where they say one thing and it actually is the complete opposite of what they're saying, then it's fine. All right. Oh. Oh, this will be a fun one. All right, let's move on to here, and we'll close this one. There we go. All right, so Acura is going to sell EVs exclusively online from 2024. Uh, when I first came across this, I got excited because I read it as Acura to sell exclusively EVs online, but no. So they're still going to sell gas cars, and they're going to sell their EVs online only. So they're kind of trying to copy Tesla and Rivian and Lucid and all the others that they've seen have success with this. Also, it stops your dealers from doing things like we saw with the Hummer EV and marking them up ridiculously. So let's see. Honda wants to do things differently. They want to sell 1.2 million hybrids, which are not EVs, with sub-brand Acura accounting for 160,000 units, which is not much. However, from 2024, buyers will only be able to buy to complete their purchase online. Senior VP for Vice President for Honda, Mamudo Diallo, said of Acura's plans in a press release in 2023, we will see strategies we've been talking about, including growing sales of light truck models, increasing volume of hybrid electric models, and the start of digital sales at Acura. All this leads toward our vision of 100% electrified sales by 2040. Wow, that's super late. To fulfill our ultimate goal of zero emissions by 2050. Also super late. So that also could explain why the Japanese are just behind on all this. If their goals aren't for another 27 years, then no wonder they're dragging their feet. They've got 3 whole model revisions before it's time to even look at them. Uh, this is sad. It's quite sad. So I guess Honda and Acura won't make it, which is funny. My daughter just picked out a. She's got a lot of little Matchbox cars. They're not in her bed. They're in the playpen behind it. She picked out the Honda E, the European and Japanese uh, little city car. 100 and some odd miles of range. It's cute. No mirrors. I like it, but I don't know how much picking out is like for electric or not. I think she might just like the color. It was a bright blue. You've seen her. She's not she's not all that expressive yet. Um, yeah, wow. Any comments on this one? There are comments on this one. Booked a test drive at Tesla's showroom before buying. Yep. Tesla's online ordering system works well because buyers have had a chance to ride or drive in a friend's vehicle beforehand. I suspect many people will want to order an Acura in the same manner without. Are you missing a not? Will want to order an Acura in the same manner without at least sitting in one before they order one. Perhaps. We wish them luck. And then, speaking of old heads, we've got Ferrari. They're engineering simulated engine sounds, like most automakers, for their future EVs. And why do they treat us like this? I do like the ones where they can turn it off. Just, I want silence. At least on the inside. I understand that the noisemakers are required now on the outside, but do we need them on the inside? Let's see. The Italian automaker has not shunned EVs completely, however. Ferrari offers 4 electrified models, including the SF90 plug-in hybrids shown below. While the company has yet to deliver their first all-electric Ferrari, there is one already in the works. I think we talked about that one when they first announced it. Oh, there you go, yellow plug-in hybrid. But Ferrari expects their EVs to have a distinct sound. Um, Analysts have cited the recently filed patent by Ferrari that describes a unique amplification system targeting distinct engine noises. Per the filing, the patent relates to a reproduction device for the realization of a sound that can be associated with an electric motor. So the next question is Ferrari in the same group with Dodge? Are they part of Stellantis? Or are they on their own? After the spin-off and separation process from Fiat, from Ferrari Group as 2016, Ferrari became an independent company. Currently, the company owns the most expensive stocks in Ferrari. Okay, so they are still independent, and they're public too. But it sounds to me like the noisemaker from the E muscle from the Dodge Charger Daytona, bunch of nostalgic brand names thrown together concept car that we saw with the speakers that blow into a tube that make it so you can feel the noise with wake the neighbor irresponsibility. It sounds just like that. And if that works for Dodge, it probably will work for Ferrari too. Similar mindset they're going for the sales of it all, but I would like to think their customers are a little more sophisticated than that. Nay. So Michael asked, "Did Henry Ford add horse sound to the Model T?" And the nay was a response by Scooter Doll. Oh. All right. Oh man, this is one I forgot to read. I kept it open, and I kept it on my screen, and I didn't even do anything with it. Motor Trend got a chance to go over to Modesto and have some seat time with the Tesla Semi. So I'm gonna again leave this open so that I can find it and actually read it. We got some specs from it. Let's see. We didn't get the ones that we wanted, like weight and battery size and all that, but let's see what they did get. Cascadia is 350 horsepower, which means that Tesla Semi is they're speculating 1050, but I think it's going to be closer to what we see in the Plaid at 1020. Possibly is 1020 foot-pounds of torque, which is possible. We see the MCS2 connector on the superchargers there in Modesto. MCS2. And Motor Trend thinks it's a 1,000 kilowatt hour pack or megawatt hour pack. And Patrick had a more educated guess over at carsatcords.net. Which equals 10 Plaid battery packs daisy chained together. It jives with Tesla's claim of 500 miles and Elon Musk's claim of using the Semi at 2 kilowatt hours per mile. Yeah, you know what? He said less than 2 kilowatt hours per mile, not 2 kilowatt hours per mile. So it wouldn't need to be a full megawatt hour. Typical day for them might have them leaving Modesto in the morning with a load of chips weighing less than the truck's 82,000 gross weight rating, and running out and back loops to places like San Jose and Concord, both about 85 miles away. The out and backs are crucial because at the moment there are a few places to charge an electric Tesla Semi. That's correct. There's currently 4 chargers, and 2 of them or 3 of them are at Pepsi facilities. One is at Giga, Nevada. Then we find that the mega chargers at the Tesla Semi chargers at the facility, we already knew this, but we confirmed that they are 750 kilowatts over at Modesto, not megawatt chargers. But that's all that Frito-Lay needs. They charge from empty to 70% in half an hour, as Tesla stated, and if you leave them plugged in for another 60 minutes, they'll get to 100% at 90 minutes. So the same as the existing Teslas. I guess it's existing now. It's the same as the previous Teslas, I should say. I never got a good look at these seat controls before. That's cool. And then we can see the jump seat is deployed right here. Nobody's told us about the price, and they took a closer look inside. The drivers say it drives like a car. The left side screen is all about truck stuff, and the right hand screen is like what we see in our landscape screen Teslas today, the S, X, 3, and Y. They know that they've got the FSD package, but nobody was able to find anything about autopilot just yet. I'll have to look and see if we got a clearer picture of the steering wheel to see if it's got the autopilot activation. I think it does right down here. Dedicated software. All right, so the Semi is not running Pepsi software or Semi software. That's fine, actually. The drivers use the Tesla app on their phones as key. Okay, that was a question of mine. So they just use their own phone. That's cool. And we saw they had key cards, but next question is, do they offer a key fob? Like, can you use the Model 3 key fob on it? All right, so you've got 2 wireless phone chargers, cup holders, switches for hazards, brake light, parking brake, trailer brake, air supply. Here we see them mega charging. Build material is typical Tesla mixed, and it would the outer curb repeal. See, this is what James and I were saying. They could use a Class 6 truck, just like this Freightliner has a smaller one. And there's the Zevo 600. And there's the Rivian truck, Rivian van. All right, so let's see all 88 photos. We'll skim through a bunch of these. If we go bigger on this, can we see? We can't go bigger on this. I was hoping that we could see if it had the autopilot symbol on the wheel there. There's the jump seat. Interesting. They didn't even cover that up. It looks like it should be covered though. There's for the clips to go in place there. Unless they uncovered it. They mentioned the windows open pretty far. The front windows anyway. The back windows don't roll down. Or the door windows. There you go. Get your coat hook. Here we go. We can see the steering wheel. So it's still got stalks, even though it's got the new wheel. All right, got a microphone. I don't know what this symbol does. And then you've got your headlights. I wonder if that's the washer logo for the semi truck. No, there it is again, whatever it is. You got the Model 3 stock right there. Interesting, it's got a power logo. Oh, okay, so you wouldn't need it on the wheel because you've got it right there. There's the autopilot symbol right there on the stock, just like a Model 3. So I guess they'll just turn it on at some point. That says power. Interesting. Get your seat controls. Wirelessly charge 2 phones. Hazards, the park brake, and the air brakes. Pull to apply parking brake, push to release. Pull to evacuate trailer air supply for not for parking. Push to supply. All right, so it's got the same style of the air blades that we see on all the new Teslas. And then there's this vent right here. And there's how you control it, just like the Model 3. Got the web browser. I like all the cameras on it. So that is the rear view camera. And then you've got your side cameras there. Oh, wow. Just like our car. Stay below 65 to reach your destination. Oh. And then on here, they're pointing out that, I don't know if these guys are pointing out, but one thing that, so you got your VIN number there, so you can decode it. You get your software. It's a semi. There's no logo for it. It's just a semi. And autopilot computer is full self-driving computer. I like that it's got the TPMS for the whole rig. I see there you got your steer, your intermediate, your rear, and then your quads for the trailer. That's good. Joe mode. Sirius XM. Security alarm. Allow remote access. I like they took all these pictures of it. All right, so you get your trip catalog right there. That's cool. I wonder if the other one, the semi-computer or semi-screen, would give you the like your EDR. And then I see the door there. It sees its own door. When it's open. That's kind of cool. Huh. So I've got a Reacts view because I waited to look at the pictures with the rest of you guys. All right, so you can control the keys the same way you do on the cars. Set your charge limit. Open charge port. Then you can control your air suspension there. You can dump it. You can do jack mode. You get your lights and controls like you have on the all the others. And we've got the other screen, more cameras, and then all the semi stuff. Get your navigation. It's hopefully set up for a truck. Ergonomics look good. Just fine. I wonder if that's a park brake or something else. It's not a clutch. I wonder if this is just to change the apps of the cameras or whatever. It is on both sides, so probably one for each screen. Here we see the semi-chargers. And the equipment on the back of the truck. And then we see the MCS2 inlet with that same new style Tesla door. I'm still thinking that this will either change to MCS3 or the NACS, because do you really want to be the only one with MCS2 deployed in the world? There they are connecting it. There's the other side. So you got your headlights on the flasher brights anyway on the wheel, your horn. You got your Mega Blade. I'm also curious why they went with duals instead of the super single. And they definitely really changed the lights in the back. They used to have these really cool looking oval things, and now they've got this, which is still kind of unique, but not as unique. And then they point out all the various cameras. You got one here, one here, one here. What are we looking at here? This is the locker behind the vehicle. More mirror shots. Got the hood, and it does not have the frunk. It does have camera there. I wonder if these are like overrides or tow hitch or tow hooks, rather not tow hitch, tow hooks or hood openers. All right, so there's the door. There's another camera in the back. So that's it looks like a work light. That's cool. Get your fifth wheel and the tops of the motors, or at least one of the motors. That's right, Eddie. More semi news. Well, just photos of the semi, really, not particularly news. Those are Model X and Model 3 pedals. All right, let's see. You got the mega visor that we talked about a couple times. You can see the driver camera there. And then they took a picture of the driver camera right there. Okay, so the windows are power. That was my question, if they were power or manual. And then we've got, I'm guessing these are air. Top of one of the motors again. All right, so this is the intermediate motor, not the rear. So you see there, you got the fifth wheel. And then the disappointing news: the prototypes all had a frunk, but at least this first release does not have a frunk. It doesn't mean they couldn't put a whole bunch of plastic in there and make a tiny frunk like where you could put all your files, but at the same time, with all the space they have on the inside, that might not be necessary. But it would be kind of cool to say that, hey, every Tesla in production has a frunk. I also wonder if the Cybertruck will have a frunk at this point. I could see them skipping it because it will be small. But it doesn't have to be, because when you look at how far back the driver is, it could be deep, like what we saw on the prototype semis. And then here we could see that the aero wings have been pushed out for whatever reason. Because remember on the prototype, they were saying how they could meet up with the trailer for better aerodynamics. Okay, so it looks like they do, because that's an actuator right there. That's not like it was just snapped out. Cooling, lots of cooling, but probably also making lots of heat, so that makes sense. Wow, the shortest one they've shown us yet. Just a semi, and there he is, supercharging again. All right, so let's close this tweet and go on to the next story. Now I'm done reacting to the photos of the Tesla Semi. All right, so I mentioned Toyota, right? I also mentioned Honda. They're coming up again. Let's start with Toyota. Share this tab. All right, so Mr. Toyota has relinquished the role of CEO, and the Toyota chairman has stepped down, and Mr. Toyota is now chairman of Toyota. So the next question is, now that Mr. Toyota is seen in a more influential, more powerful role, are we going to see a doubling down of his mess with the EVs and hydrogen? Or are we going to see what he says we're going to see and see the new Lexus head of racing somehow do better at EVs than Mr. Toyota did? Today, Toyota's 66-year-old grandson of the company's founder has been one of the most outspoken critics of going all in on electric vehicles, despite the rest of the industry moving forward. Maybe he'll come up with a Prius EV. One can only hope. Prius EV is long overdue. Instead, he's continually stood by its hybrid approach, which includes hybrid, fuel cell, and even gas vehicles. Toyota's most highly anticipated release last year was its fifth generation Prius, which, despite the additional all electric range, is becoming the best CD player in a world moving to iPhones. I love that quote. The best CD player in a world moving to iPhones. That's exactly what the hybrids are, even the plug in hybrids. And let's see. As a result of its efforts or lack thereof in fully electric zero emission technology, Toyota has ranked among the world's most obstructive companies in 2022 with oil giants like ExxonMobil. Yeah, if you're in the same group of destructionists as an oil company, you aren't doing it right. Their first electric vehicle, the BZ4X, resumed sales in October after concerning safety recalls. That's a link right there. Derailed its rollout. While many automakers are already achieving double-digit EP sales, Toyota generated less than 1% of U.S. sales from zero-emission vehicles, selling a mere 1,220 units last year, which is really bad because you got some startups that they're making their first car did way more than that this year, like triple easily. Eddie says, I like the look of the new Prius, but I agree. I mean, it does look great for a Prius. It's just, I mean, for a car even, it's not where it's looking backwards. And the whole name of the car is Latin for to go before, and they did go before once, and now this is like Kodak, really. Like they invented the digital camera, and then you don't see many Kodak digital cameras today. It's not because other people surpassed them. It's because they tried to put it on a shelf and hope that nobody else would do it, and they failed. And in fact, I think the Kodak digital cameras you see are just Kodak branded, like somebody licensed the name. Let's see. Toyota has at least developed supply chains for reducing carbon emissions, even going as far as lobbying against anti-climate policies. For this reason, the automakers become the target of climate activists across the globe. I think that he worded that sentence wrong. Because Toyota definitely gave money to people who were anti-climate. They didn't lobby against it in most cases. They were all for it. Even other automakers are taking jabs at Toyota, such as Polestar's head of sustainability. When questioned about Toyota's hybrid strategy, he said, it is not possible. We cannot continue using fossil fuels. I like that. All right, let's see. So the 53-year-old Lexus chief branding officer, Koji Sato, is now going to be the CEO of Toyota. To advance change at Toyota, I have reached the decision that it's best for me to support a new president while I become chairman. We would like to demonstrate this commitment to make cars better through concrete actions and products, such as accelerating the shift to electrification and engaging in car making that responds to diverse values and local needs. We'll see what that means. Toyota has been talking a lot lately, and then this, while a move, it's just a move. It's this they showed us their 50 however many electric cars they wanted to have in the next couple of years, and we'll see if they actually walk the talk. Electric says, can Toyota's new CEO drag it out of the past and into the modern era? That's what direction it seems the company is trying to take here. Top comment was pretty big news. Have to wait and see, but with hindsight, this may go down as a pretty significant moment. Yeah, it could. Or it could have been more hand-waving. Can we read it as an admission of having to change without losing face? We absolutely can. Fossil fuels got to go, but full cells ain't the answer. I agree. Like for personal transport, it's not going to be hydrogen. Not anytime soon. I mean, I'm not saying never, but it's not likely. There's just too many hurdles for it. Oh, okay. So the next story we've got is Honda. So I told you Honda and Toyota were coming up again. Following Honda's announcement earlier that it's overhauling its business strategy to focus on electric vehicles and become a company society wants to exist in the electrified era, another Japanese automaker is seemingly changing its stance. After the continued success of EV makers like Tesla and BYD, reports have suggested that Toyota is considering building an EV platform from scratch. They need to do this because the BZ4X is not built on a EV platform. It's built on a modified gas car platform called the ETNGA. So it's basically what's that? It's a Corolla or a Prius underneath there. So it's still gas. I mean, it's not a gas car, but it's not optimized to be an electric car either. And as we've seen, anytime you build an electric car on a gas platform, you don't get the best results. They're just meh. The dedicated EV platform will help the company streamline its production and better compete in the new EV era. We'll see in which direction the new CEO takes it, but from his comments, it seems he seems more open to the idea of an electric future. We'll see. I'm not holding my breath anymore. I'm gonna treat Toyota just like Eddie treats all these new startups. Like, we'll see if they make it. We'll see if they make it. He'll have to act fast if he wants the company to compete in a new era of electric vehicles, with most automakers already light years ahead of in terms of EV production. With 0 EVs under his belt, Saito may have a difficult road ahead. Absolutely. Interesting that he's got top comments, and I never see comments, even on my phone. Maybe it's my browser. Or maybe they're marked as ads. Although I don't have an ad blocker on the cell phone. All right, so we talked about Toyota and Honda and Acura. Well, Honda overhauls its business operation to rapidly accelerate EV deployment. They're aligning their business to jumpstart EV rollouts. And let's see. Starting in April. So here's one that got me with this. Honda made this announcement. Their change starts on April 1st. It's a bad day in the Western world to be starting anything. Thankfully, the news came out in advance. But are we a joke to you? Because April Fool's is April 1st in the Western world. So anyway, starting in April, Honda will make key organizational and operational changes to further accelerate its mobility business while enhancing value for shareholders. Let's give them a little bit of a break for seeming obtuse. The other bit of that is that that's the beginning of the second quarter. So maybe they're just, if they're going to change a bunch of jobs and processes, maybe it's just cleaner to start it on a financial boundary on the calendar. Let's see. In a statement Tuesday, Honda said it will consolidate development of vehicles, motorcycles, and other power products into a new business segment called the Electrification Business Development Operations. And we may have already seen a little bit of this. Remember, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about how they were repurposing their plants for small motors for things like ATVs and lawnmowers to the point where they're getting out of lawnmowers, which I think is a mistake. Not to get out of gas lawnmowers, that's great, but they should capitalize on their brand reputation of building solid, reliable power plants. Basically indestructible if you do basic maintenance. Lawnmowers, like whole lawnmowers, and also just the engines. So that I think they could continue that. They could sell. I mean, it's not like they don't know how to make electric motors. They've been making hybrids forever. They could sell their own electric motor module, and they could sell their own lawnmowers still, and they would just be electric instead of little four-stroke little monsters. All right, so to further boost its strategy, Honda plans to reorganize its regional operations, consolidating them into 3 markets. The new structure will consist of 3 regional operations rather than 6, including North America, China, and associate regions, which groups together Japan, Asia, and South America with the Europe, Africa, and Middle East markets. Interesting. Honda ended the statement by saying it is looking to transform itself through electrification and strives to become even more recognized as a company society actually wants to exist in an electrified era. I wish them luck, and Toyota. I mean, I don't really want to see them fail. I'm jaded at this point. They've both been talking a big talk for over 20 years, and what do we have to see? Right now, more talk. But maybe this year we'll see more happen. So April for Honda, and sometime soon for Toyota, hopefully. Japanese automaker unveiled its first electric SUV in October, the Honda Prologue, which is, they say, is co-developed with GM, but it's basically the GM Blazer or the other one. It's one of them GM SUV EVs um, with a Honda badge on it, kind of like Honda and Isuzu and Isuzu and GM, and just so many large automaker collabs. All right, so Electric says it's good to see Honda aligning its business to focus on EVs, accelerate deployment. It'll help streamline development and production in the long run. Top comment being that's not what the link statement says. In the link statement's diagram, the automobile motorcycle operations remain separate. Interesting. The only change is its business development operations has been renamed electrification business operations. But that's meaningless when one of the subboxes says battery electric, hybrid electric, and fossil. Good point. However, it may be too little too late at this point. Many automakers are already achieving double-digit or 100% EV sales, with production capabilities expanding rapidly. Meanwhile, Honda has yet to release its first EV in North America. The Prologue is slated for 2024, but will be based on GM's technology. Honda plans to sell EVs on its own architecture, e-architecture platform, but again, we have to wait until 2026. And then the Honda E isn't available in North America. Honda CEO who took over in 2021 is trying to right the ship and get the automaker back on track in the fast-moving EV era. He previously served as president, representative of Honda's research and development, Honda R&D, and is more open to the idea of electric vehicles. That's good. For example, Honda's previously dismissed hydrogen combustion as a viable option for cars, unlike Toyota, which stands by its hybrid strategy. Hydrogen combustion, BMW's tried this, and they've never actually brought it to market in any numbers. Hydrogen combustion is a shortcut to hydrogen cars because you just take your gas car and you tune it up for hydrogen, and you make sure that the hydrogen doesn't tear it to pieces on its way out, because it passes through everything and also embrittles most metals that it goes through, metals and rubber and everything. It just makes everything weaker. And if you burn it, then you don't need stuff like platinum and whatever to like you do with a fuel cell car. Hopefully the new business structure can spark growth for Honda for them to become a company society wants to exist. Yeah, we'll need to see some zero emission products first. All right, so comments exist, but I never see them, even when I'm off of my network. All right, so speaking of leases, the Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive is now available for $399 per month with a 3-year lease. And remember, with a Tesla lease, you cannot buy the product at the end of the lease. And recent revisions to the leasing agreement also say that you can't sell or trade it to a regular car dealer either. Let's see. So the Tesla Model 3 is the most affordable vehicle today, Tesla's most affordable vehicle today, starting at $43,990 before incentives in the US, following substantial price cuts implemented earlier this month. A look at Tesla's order page shows that the rear-wheel drive can be leased for a very reasonable $399 per month. There it is right there. With $4,500 down, 36 months, 10,000 mile limit, includes $1,390 in destination fee. Well, it includes it. That's cool. Excludes taxes and other fees. Available in select states. Electronic payments required, and you can customize your payment with the link below. Yeah, I would cut the down payment out. I don't do down payments on leases. Mainly because if something happens to the car, you're out your down payment. It's just gone. I mean, I might do 1,000 or 1,500, 2,000, but that's kind of my comfort level on a lease. Because literally, you can pull out of the parking lot and that 2,000 is gone. I'm assuming that you'll be fine because pulling out of a parking lot, you're hoping that the speeds are more compatible and you're in a Tesla. So I'm assuming a good outcome, but a loss of the car here. The other good thing is you don't have to worry about diminished value because that's Tesla's problem. Let's see, assuming that they could repair the car. Customers who wish to lease a sedan for 36 months, 10,000 annual miles, can expect to pay $55.94 upon signing, and this amount is comprised of three-wheel drive, Model 3 rear-wheel drives, first payment and acquisition fee of $695, and those who wish to lease the three rear-wheel drive with 15,000 annual miles can expect to pay $5,642 upon signing, and you still get the same $399. It sounds like, because they raised the payment. So that's a pretty sweet deal, actually, especially with cars being like phones. I mean, I buy my phones outright, but I probably should be leasing them because I change them out so frequently. And I like leasing cars. I didn't lease this one because I had other plans for it. I might lease the Cybertruck. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I might not, though, because I plan to customize it. But since I'm not in the front of the line, I'll have a chance to see if I want to hang on to it, or if I want to swap it later on. We'll see. It might be worth hanging on to because I'm in line for the cheaper full self-driving package, assuming that they honor that statement. All right, so the Model 3 rear-wheel drive features 272 miles of EPA range. There we go, right at the sweet spot, even after degradation, and a 0 to 60 time of 5.8 seconds. Not bad at all. It's a lot slower than what I'm used to, but it's not bad. Top speed 140 miles an hour, that's plenty. And without any additional options, the vehicle is shipped with pearl white multi-coat paint, 18-inch aero wheels, and an all-black interior. So obviously your payments are going to go up if you customize any of that. Seems to come out to $22K to drive 45,000 miles. Next, Tesla can sell the used Model 3 for $32K. That is correct. That's an extra $8,000 for Tesla as opposed to selling it new for $47,000. This can be true, but it can also be false. You don't have to worry about ever having a car, or a lot of them, not that it matters much on this one, but maintenance tends to be included on leases. And on something like this, where the technology is evolving rapidly, you don't have to worry about getting rid of it at the end. Now, for the folks who sold cars in the last 2 years, most of them actually made a profit, but that's not always the case because cars are depreciating assets. All people whining about how their Tesla is now worth less than when they bought it. It's a car. They're depreciating assets. Is what they do. When I bought my Chevy Volt, the price dropped overnight. Like, was it? I want to say $5,000 or $7,500, and that was the hit right there. It just never recovered. And because it was a car purchase, I didn't get anything back for it. It just, same as all the people whining about the Tesla price drop now. Like, oh man, I wish I'd done it later. But that was me with the Volt. I don't remember if it was the first or second Volt either. I think it was the first Volt. I should have never got either Volt. Should have just waited and got myself a Model S. But the Model S at the time was just so expensive. It was more than double the Volt. It was the first Volt because the second Volt was cheaper than the first Volt for me. Yep. That's not very nice, but he does have a point. That is a on the headline is a Euro plate car, but this is a U.S. car right here. Better to lease or buy. You get the Model Y for a few bucks more. The Model 3 long range included. Model 3 with the driving experience. That depends on who you are. Are you racing on a track? Tesla needs to make red a free. Red has never been a free color. It's always been extra. All right, let's move on to something else. What have we got? We got a tweet. We've got an alternative transportation proposal, one that I will go into on What Drives Us, I believe. And Starlink power saving. And an automaker got bought. That's not all, but that's just all I'm loading right now. There we go. Let's share this tab instead. All right, I got to remember to turn the stunner back on and reset the auto volume before close out this show. Um, Meanwhile, okay, so Hyundai to invest $8.5 billion in EV development, U.S. factory, uh, according to Inside EVs there. And then Joey points out that meanwhile, from Top Gear, BBCA, GM will invest 918 million across 4 U.S. sites, of which 854 million will be spent developing its sixth-generation small block V8 and 64 million on supporting EV production. I guess that's it for GM, right? Question mark. So this is um, the reason I brought it up was last week we talked about how was it last week or the week before we talked about how GM was putting all these billions of dollars into their business, but how little they were actively putting into the EVs now, and how many billions they were putting in their small block V8. So 918 million across 4 sites, of which 854 million will be spent developing the sixth generation small block V8. So very few of those millions are going to developing these 4 sites, and the rest of it is for the next version of their V8. And 64 million to EVs. But Mary led, right? Mary led. Last year, GM said it was investing $6.6 billion to build EVs in Michigan alone between 2022 and 2024. And then this year they announced that garbage. They don't seem to be. I mean, other than the sheer amount of EVs they actually have on the market, as far as like selection of models, they're right now. Ever since the Bolt fires have been resolved, they've been like a step above Toyota and them. Not actively dissing EVs, but definitely not walking all the talk that they're putting out. All right, so Salt Lake City wants to replace cars with this 8-mile-long sustainable gondola. Hey, we keep saying that mass transportation and less cars is the way to go, right? Well, they're still cars, but they're not road cars. Gondola cars is what you call the thing hanging from the wire. There's a gondola car, and the Utah Department of Transportation has a plan to replace a narrow, winding highway leading to a popular ski area with an 8-mile-long electric gondola ride. The move would make the site accessible via public transportation, removing the need to clog the highway with cars and cut down on traffic accidents and decrease emissions in the canyon. That part's kind of cool. I'm curious how it'll handle the density and what it'll do about breakdowns and such, but it's a unique solution. And if they power it on electricity, which is easy to do, they've got something in play here. Let's see. The planned route passes through Little Cottonwood Canyon, where the State Route 210 connects Salt Lake City with 4 major ski resorts in the area for world-class skiing. The electric gondola has been proposed as a solution for major traffic concerns along the highway, which has been described as having traffic that has gotten so bad, particularly on snowy powder days, that the canyon becomes more or less undrivable after 8 a.m. if there's any significant snowfall. Wow. And you won't have to worry about the roadway on this thing. Avalanches and traffic accidents can also lead to long traffic jams along the highway. SR 210 is known as the most avalanche-prone highway in North America, as it sits in the way of 64 active avalanche paths. Wow. And here they are. Like it's like a video game where you're like you're running and the path is collapsing, or like Indiana Jones, you're running, there's this boulder chasing you, or back to video games, you're running and there's this monster chasing you. It's just like that, except that hopefully it's not as easy to trigger as a video game or movie. So they've got 3 potential solutions, including widening the highway as well as increasing bus routes. Both of those will still be susceptible to avalanches and traffic, and knowing a lot of these municipalities, they won't be electric. That's right, Anders. The gondola plan was ultimately chosen as the most effective. Yeah, it meets all your requirements that you said there. The proposed Little Cottonwood Canyon gondola project is far cry from an oversized ski lift. Okay, tell us more. The project used large climate-controlled gondolas that carry up to 35 passengers. So these are gondola buses. That's cool. And uh, feature heated seats. That's nice with built-in USB charging. Yeah, for the amount of time these things usually take. But also, it's able to go straight or curved or better than the road. It's able to take a better path than the road, so it might actually be quicker, especially with the traffic. But the USB charging is nice. Let's see, and if they're on a fixed route and they're unmanned, we can see the next part they're going to talk about. Uh, Offering comfortable journey as a car ride, and they arrive every 2 minutes, resulting in a maximum theoretical throughput of 1,000 passengers per hour. Well, there we go. 1,000 passengers per hour. How many did the boring loop just achieve? I'm opening a new tab and doing the search on that. Um, all right, so 100,000 people in Vegas during CES, which is what per hour? Over 94,000 passengers traveled in the loop, and the company said it moved 10,000 passengers to and from Resorts World. Average ride, average wait time is 2 minutes, so the same as this. And the average, um, wait, no, I take that back. The rides were less than 2 minutes, and the wait time was 10 seconds. So it's actually better than this as far as the wait time. The distance is completely different. The thing here, though, is everybody's going to the same place. So I don't know if the loop would actually do anything better than that. It would definitely be more expensive because you're tunneling through mountains at that point. All right, so let's just say the 3 days was 24 hours, which it probably was not. Let's do 24 hours. Nope. 200,000 people divided by 24 hours. It wasn't 24, it was 3 days. 24 times 3. So that is 1,388 passengers per hour, assuming that it just ran all day, which neither. I'm not saying the gondola is going to stop, but that's not. I mean, you still got people going to and from the places. So they're comparable, actually. Anyway, 1,000 passengers per hour. It's actually less passengers per hour in this. Proposal includes building the base station as the starting point for a zero emissions gondola. Located on the edge of Salt Lake City, the multimodal hub would include several thousand parking spots and feature rental lockers for ski gear and eateries and shopping. 31-minute gondola ride from LaSalle station would whisk passengers through the canyon, flying above the highway towards the Snowbird station. Passengers remaining would have another 6-minute journey on the gondola to reach the final point in Alta station. Okay, so it's got two. So it does suffer from the same major disadvantage that a subway has, in that if you want to go from one end to the other and not stop in the middle, you still have to stop in the middle because other people want to stop in the middle. That's not a problem that all buses have, but it's a problem that all subways I've seen deployed have, unless they do express routes where they just go one stop to the other. Estimated cost is expected to be between 391 million and more than 1 billion. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. And then they could do either more cars, or they could do 2 levels to get more passengers, or they could do side by side. Their take is it's an incredible demonstration of how zero emissions alternatives can be an improvement not just for the environment, but also for the daily quality of life. Top comment was, I live in Utah and I've seen all the drama around this project. The gondola will take years to build and cost much closer to 1 billion than 391 million. Yeah, probably. We have a terrible traffic problem right now. 10 to 20 electric buses would cost 10 to 15 million and can be put in operation in months. Good point. However, the bus will still ride in that traffic and the bus will still be subject to avalanches. So unless you want to outlaw private cars on that road, then the buses would be a viable alternative to this, except for when the weather's inclement and when there's an avalanche. That would solve most of the check marks, though. Yes, there are more operating and maintenance costs, charging, parking, drivers, repairs, but I imagine that you'll still be under 50 million a year, probably. Uh, well, assuming that you got your buses for free or you didn't count them in it, because as I said, the buses are about $1 million each, and you're going to need several of them for that length of a drive. I imagine it'll still be under 50 million a year. Why not try the buses now, even if they still want to build the gondola in the future? You could do that, and then you could redeploy the bus to another region, assuming that the people installing the gondola cover a wider region. Which, since they keep talking about Utah dot, then probably yeah. And then you can redeploy those buses to the nearby city, or you can put them at the top of the gondola, so that way when you get off the gondola, assuming that that there's more driving around to do, they can do it at the top of the mountain. Current situation is awful, with people stuck frequently in hours-long traffic jams, being unable to use the road at all, which itself is a safety concern when evacuations are necessary. Adding more buses or lanes would add more noise and pollution to the canyon, but not electric buses. I mean, there'd be the rubber pollution, but that's really nothing. Understand the objections. Take a long time, ruin the view. Their response to the NIMBYs is that why this is why you have to pay taxes, and that the view would be much worse if they would build a bigger highway or put hundreds more buses on it. Yeah. And if you don't like seeing cables or gondolas in your mountain, then perhaps you should would have preferred stairs instead of a chairlift as your local ski resort, huh? That's a good retort. I didn't think so. A few thin cables aren't going to destroy the view, nor are the support towers, which are likely to be nicely camouflaged along the way, just like how cell phone towers are often built to look like trees in many cities. So speaking of NIMBYs, they're putting a homeless shelter in nearby my house in South Carolina, and oh boy, the comments you should see in the neighborhood groups about, oh, we don't want it close to us. There's homeless people. There's this. There's that. And they feign that they care about the fact that there's no walkability and no bus service in my town. I mean, yeah, that's a real concern, but you can tell by the way their tone that while they're saying that as their excuse, they're really just saying they don't want homeless people nearby them. I do wish we had some sidewalks and that it was walkable, but my town is not. My town is 100% car dependent. And I will deal with that later by moving somewhere else. But for now, that's what I've got. Let's see. A 37-minute trip is longer than a car drive, which takes around 20 minutes without traffic. But as you just said, there's always traffic. When the road is impassable due to traffic jams, accidents, or inclement weather, 37 minutes sounds a lot better than canceling a trip or spending hours stuck in an idling car halfway up a mountainside. I agree. Plus, it's a beautiful 37-minute scenic trip through the mountains. Yeah, it's true. They can also send them over the more beautiful parts because they don't have to worry about angles and traction. And I mean, they will, but not like a car. There we go. All right, so I mentioned SpaceX and power saving. There's now a sleep schedule feature on Starlink. In the app, you can say when you want your dish to sleep. You can have one setting for sleep and wake, and then you can turn off the setting to leave it on. When it's asleep, you have no data. You have no heating on the dish. So SpaceX warns that snow melt could take hours after it turns back on. But if you have a high performance dish, this could be 150 watts or so that you save. And if you have a regular V2 the V1 dish is going to be similar to the high performance dish. And if you have a V2 dish, little rectangle dishy, then you can save anywhere from 35 to 150 watts there as well when it is heating. The high performance is 150 base to 350 watts heating. So if you know you're not going to be home and you don't need any of your IoT stuff phoning home and whatever, like there's nobody home to use the internet and you don't have your house set up to do stuff with it, or you've got a alternative uh, for those things that do need it, like your alarm system could have cellular or whatever, then you can have the dish shut down, and that will help alleviate pressure on the network as well as save you electricity. I'm assuming that if you're turning this off to save electricity, like if you have an off-grid cabin or whatever, then you probably also don't have um, anything high power that would want to use the internet, even if you don't have it using the internet. So that's pretty cool. Although it might seem strange that someone would want to shut down their Starlink equipment and not have access to the internet for several hours. Hello, 21st century. This feature is likely targeted to a specific user group. Those are Starlink subscribers who live off the grid, like RV users who sign up with satellite service for the ability to have high speed, low latency roaming the country in their RV. Yeah, there's that too. I didn't even think about that. If you've got it running in its AC device and you've only got DC batteries and you want to turn your inverter off, you can have it set to sleep. You can turn it off manually, but now you have a schedule. Yay. No comments. And the other reason I brought that up was conservatives in America are going on and on about how Xbox is woke because Xbox implemented a similar sleep feature on the Xbox where it goes to sleep at night when you're not using it, and then when you turn it on, it takes 15 seconds instead of instant on like a sleeping laptop. Oh my! SpaceX and Tesla decided to help, or SpaceX and Xbox, Microsoft decided to help me save a few dollars on my electric bill. They're so political. Look at them, blah blah blah. No, it's the right thing to do. And if you don't want to use either feature, just turn them off, or don't turn them on, depending on how they're set up. I don't know if the Xbox One is automatic or if it's optional. I mean, it's optional, but if it's opt in or opt out, and then on SpaceX, it's opt in. So if you need that, turn it on. If you don't need it, or you've got stuff that needs to phone home, then don't, because then you'll have no internet during the sleep cycle. So Ideanomics has acquired EV truck manufacturer Via Motors. So Via, for a while, they were converting like Chevy vans and Mercedes vans and stuff over to electric, and then they made their own. I think it was a Class 6 truck. It was a cutaway cab for sure, like the one seen in the picture. And now they're part of Ideanomics instead. They're a global company, and over the past 2 years, they've been acquiring EV startups producing motorcycles, tractors, electric delivery vans, electrify all the things. Let's see. I interrupted myself before I was done. They acquired Via, and this is kind of synergistic, is the way the article went on to describe it, about how they benefit each other and how it allows Via to have more reach. This is what Via's been working on lately, is their cargo vehicle. And so Ideanomics is talking about some of their synergies right here. So the V-Drive and V-Truck technology, and they got multiple battery sizes, and Via's electric work trucks with Ideanomics energy turnkey charging solutions. It's kind of like Shell buying your it's like Shell buying GM basically. So they have the one vehicle right now, the chassis electric truck, which can be outfitted with a standard bed or box, much like any commercial vehicle or commercial van. The electric truck comes in 3 distinct lengths and is well fitted for delivery use, in which case a box is fitted to the back. Yep. All right, they're talking about wireless charging. I must have skipped over that part. That's usually what I hear when I hear wireless charging. I just go blah. All right, so that is the boring company. I don't need that. I got what we needed from it and told you about it. All right, so we've got another tweet, a weird vehicle, and some Polestar news. not Pulsar News. Another vehicle. Where is my weird vehicle? There we go. So let's go with the weird vehicle first. It's not really all that weird. All right, so Electric's weird vehicle of the week is low-cost backhoe construction equipment, batteries included. You get yourself a little loader. Readers of my awesomely weird Alibaba electric vehicle of the week column will know that I usually dig around the Chinese shopping sites to find the wackiest and coolest EVs in the world. So let's see. It was lead acid batteries. Interesting. You can probably convert those with drop-ins. The first model seems to be produced from a number of sources. Is the Aeolite 604. It is 1120 kilograms or 2,470 pound mini loader that can lift up to 400 kilograms or 880 pounds in its front bucket. Zip around between 6 to 11 miles an hour or 10 to 18 kilometers an hour, depending on what gear you have in it. And it gets powered by a pair of 1,800-watt motors for the four-wheel drive system. A third 3,000-watt motor or 3-kilowatt motor runs the hydraulic system. That's cool, which includes a third circuit in addition to the lifting and dumping circuit to create a quick hitch system or power hydraulic accessories like gripper buckets and digger attachments. So it's got a PTO. That's cool, but a mechanical PTO rather than electric. Lead-acid batteries give you a runtime of 6 to 7 hours, and the lack of diesel engine is a long list of advantages. Yep. Cool stuff. That's a Type 2 connector on there. But they have Type 2 to J1772 connectors, so you can deal with that if it can take American power. I don't know. All right, let's see. It's $4,900 for one, and $4,500 if you buy 10 of them. The 606 model starts at $8,300 for one, and price drops as you get more, down to $7,500 each. That's cool. A diesel Bobcat L23 is $40,000. Wow, so this is a savings if you need it. I wonder if I could put one of them on the homestead. I'll save this for later. They come in shipping containers. That's why you get a discount, because you're saving them by having to figure out what to do with the extras. Just buy the whole pallet. Sweet. All right, let's go to Twitter. SpaceX President Gwynne Shotwell will receive the 2023 Rotary National Award for Space Achievement. The National Space Trophy is presented annually to an American who has made major contributions to the U.S.'s space exploration programs. It's right in the name, Space Exploration Technologies. Congratulations to Gwynne Shotwell. Yes, well deserved. It hasn't been awarded to Elon yet, but one requirement is you have to show up to the ceremony, so that might be why. Oh, clever. All right, and we've got the Candela C8 electric boat. It's now powered by Polestar. I don't know if we've covered this one before, and if we had, it was powered by something else before. I think we have. If not, it was one of their competitors. It was a lifting boat. I think we have. I think the new part is the Polestar part, because they're talking about their technology that keeps it balanced while it's in the air. Just putting batteries and electric motor in a regular boat would suffice, so they sought hydrofoil. Yes, them. Leaving massive surface area open to friction losses. Blah blah. C8 should draw 23 kilowatts or 30 horsepower continuously. According to Candela's press release, the C8 is over 5 times more efficient than a traditional boat with less wake, disturbance in the water. And the startup saw issues with the C8's battery. Simply, they thought that the battery tech wasn't ready to provide enough range for mass market. In need of batteries, the firm networked around, and Polestar decided to work with the aquatic startup to get the boats back into the air. Okay, there we go. So we had talked about them before, and apparently batteries were a problem, and Polestar has helped them. I called Gustav, CEO of Candela, and checked what kind of needs they have, and if a Polestar 2 battery could then fit into the hull of a Catella boat. So literally just like a Polestar 2 pack. That's awesome. Kind of like how SpaceX takes Model X packs and puts them on the rocket. Or at least how they were doing with prototypes of Starship anyway. Soon after, Candela decided that the 69 kilowatt hour Polestar 2 standard range pack would be a good fit. Standard range, really? That's cool. They collaborated to get the battery suited for marine environment. We need to do the software adaptations and alterations to fit with battery management system that would be needed in the boat and the demands on how to pull power from the battery. Yeah, because the boat usage is a bit different than a car usage, because cars, their steady state is very low and their acceleration is very high. Whereas the boat, you just kind of pick a speed and just let it run for hours, but that could still be at a pretty significant load. Let's see. And then we got the specs on the boat, which don't appear to be changed much. But the battery is. Polestar 2 standard range single motor, 30 knots. Expected range is 57 nautical miles or 65 US miles at 22 knots. DC charging or Polestar 11 kilowatt 3-phase AC charging. So it's probably going to have a Type 2 connector on there. There we go. No comments, really. All right, then. And with that, I will still go through the phone and find some stuff to bring back to you guys, because I need to stop just leaving them in the phone. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. And also thank you to our channel members and patrons. I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye now.